guys, and welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about drip acclimation. Oh boy. What is drip acclimation? Why would you do drip acclimation? Why did I do drip acclimation? Why you shouldn't do drip acclimation? We're going to discuss that in today's video. However, I want to be clear. This is the first time I'm ever going to drip acclimate my fish. First time ever. Now, this is actually my first saltwater aquarium, and yes, my first saltwater fish. I got Bangai. I cannot wait to put them in my tank. Now, the thing about drip acclimating is, well, you see, I've had fish before. I've had, of course, the 9-gallon. You can see that behind me in the other aquariums I've had. I've been in the freshwater world for about 5 years, and when it comes to acclimating fish, typically, at least for freshwater, yeah, you just shouldn't drip acclimate your fish in freshwater. And there are simple reasons why, which we are going to get into. So, why wouldn't you drip acclimate for freshwater? Well, it's basically because of what happens when you're shipping fish in the bag. The thing is, when a fish is in the bag, usually it's about a third of water and 2/3 of air, roughly that. And yeah, that's because the fish actually do breathe oxygen. That to this day is like, when I know it sounds crazy, but I didn't know that when I was a kid. I was thinking, how would fish actually breathe underwater? And don't they just breathe water? No, they actually breathe air. It's one of the most amazing facts to me, is that fish actually need oxygen. And yeah, that's why when they put fish in bags, they don't fill up the bag all the way with water. They always have some air in the bag for the fish. And the fish also breathe out carbon dioxide. That builds up in the bag. And then, of course, you also have the fact that the fish is going to poo. It's going to produce waste, right? And that waste is going to directly turn into ammonia. It's going to break down. I don't know how fast it breaks down, but it is going to turn into ammonia. And unlike in a established aquarium, you are not going to have bacteria to take out that ammonia, which is problematic, of course. So the thing is, luckily, while shipping in the bag, the pH tends to drop. And for some reason, ammonia is not as toxic in lower pH. But as soon as you open up the bag, air is going to rush into the bag, into the water, and it's going to rise that pH. And as the carbon dioxide rushes out of the bag, air is going to fill in, oxygen is going to fill in, and that's just going to cause a pH spike. Now, the pH spike isn't necessarily what we're worried about. We're more or less worried about that ammonia in that bag. And so the best thing to do is actually to get the fish directly out of that ammonia-filled bag. As soon as you do that, you pull them in the tank, and I mean, sure, there can be a little bit of a surprise for the fish, but as long as they're temperature acclimated, temperature acclimating is kind of the biggest important thing, because fish cannot handle temperature swings, dramatic temperature swings at all. So as long as you temperature acclimate the fish, then they're typically fine. And you do that by putting the bag in the water for about anywhere between 10 minutes to a half hour, and they should be just fine. Then you can, of course, open the bag, net the fish, get them out of that bag, and don't pour in that water from the bag into the aquarium, because you don't want to pour in that ammonia into the aquarium at all. Now, the thing is about drip acclimating. Drip acclimating is all about getting the bag's water, the parameters of that water to match your tank. And it takes very slow because if you do this very fast, you're going to shock the fish and possibly kill them. They're probably going to be killed by stress and shock, and that's just not good. So drip acclimating has to be a very slow process. The problem is if you're going to drip acclimate your fish is, of course, that pH spike, that ammonia spike. That is going to be very hurtful to your fish. So that's why when it comes to freshwater fish, they're not as delicate as saltwater fish. So that spike is going to be the only thing you're going to have to worry about. So just getting them out of that bag is perfectly fine. But when it comes to saltwater, you have a whole new issue. You have a whole new set of parameters you need to deal with. Particularly, the biggest one you want to worry about, of course, is the salinity, the salt content of your water. The salt content of your water is definitely going to be different than the bag, and most of the time, it's not good to give a fish any shock from a salinity drop or a salinity rise or anything like that. It's just not a good idea. And again, saltwater fish are typically more delicate than freshwater fish. So that's why you want to drip acclimate them. At the same time, being more delicate, you have to worry about that ammonia as well, because the ammonia, again, freshwater fish are not as delicate as saltwater fish, and that ammonia spike is definitely going to kill your saltwater fish too. So the real question is, how are you going to deal with this, right? And there's a couple different ways. Now, one, you could actually scoop up a little bit of water into the bag and then close it up real tight and just do that again and again and again a couple of times, and until the parameters again match. You could do that as well, just using a cup and then netting the fish and putting them in the tank. You could just net the fish and put them in the tank again, possibly shocking them because of the parameter change. That's not going to be very good, but that is another opportunity you could do. Not the best idea, but you could do that. The best thing you could actually do, though, is drip acclimating along with using prime. Now, I didn't know this about prime, and I don't know what's in it, and I don't know how it works or anything like that. But I was trying to learn about how to properly and safely acclimate saltwater fish to your aquarium, to your salt parameters. And it turns out that prime actually, it's very interesting because it's actually a declinator, but it has something in it that actually binds to the ammonia or nitrate or nitrite, and it doesn't detoxifies it. It doesn't get rid of it, but it kind of puts a capsule around it, and until that breaks down, you basically don't have any ammonia in your water anymore. So that's fantastic. Now, of course, this can be used in freshwater too. Again, freshwater fish are just not that delicate. This stuff is actually kind of expensive. It's more expensive than your average tap water conditioner because, of course, you do get your money's worth out of it. It is also very concentrated. It's very concentrated, and let me tell you, this stuff smells terrible because it's so concentrated compared to your average tap water conditioner like Top Fin Stress Coat. But it also has the ability to eliminate ammonia. So what I did is as soon as I got my fish, I actually opened up the bag and I poured in just a little bit. I don't know how much I did, maybe like I'm guessing like 3 milliliters. I don't know how much I actually dripped in. Again, the bag isn't very big. There isn't a lot of water in this bag. So I just poured in a little bit of that into the bag. And it's funny because the fish, when I took them out of the bag, you could tell that they were not happy. No fish is going to be happy in shipping. No fish is going to show its best colors when they're shipping. These guys were completely, pretty much clear, pale, looked like they were on their last legs. They were moving, they weren't dead, but they definitely were not happy. As soon as I put the stuff into the bag, that prime stuff into that bag, the fish started coloring up almost immediately. So I think they probably had a little bit of ammonia in the bag, probably bothering them, which is why it's a really good idea to use this stuff to take care of that. It's a good thing that I did. And then I actually drip acclimated them. Now, how long should you drip acclimate your fish? I actually drip acclimated these guys for an hour in, I want to say, 16, 17 minutes. No joke, I literally grabbed a bag of Cheetos, a glass of water, and I watched Bambi on Disney Plus. Yes, I like Bambi. I literally sat there and watched the entire movie of Bambi, and sat there with the fish while drip acclimating them. And I watched Bambi on my phone and sat there over the fish, just checking on them every now and again to make sure that they weren't freaking out. And as soon as they were done, I of course put them into the tank. Now, what can I say about my first time drip acclimating? Yeah, I've never done this before, and yeah, it went well. I'm really glad that that prime stuff exists, that prime declinator exists, because it definitely did work. It definitely did help. I'm pretty sure that is the only reason why I didn't see any issues with the drip acclimating method that I use. But yeah, for freshwater fish, I just wouldn't drip acclimate freshwater fish at all. I wouldn't do it. But for saltwater fish, yeah, this actually did work. This worked quite well. I, of course, was checking the water, checking the salinity, almost every 20 minutes to see where the salinity was at. And as soon as it was at the perfect amount, I kind of let it go on for a little longer until the end of my Bambi movie, and then put the fish into the tank. Now, in my next video, I'll probably do a 2-week update on how the fish have been. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if this video helps you understanding what drip acclimating is. But with that said, yeah, this is the first time I ever drip acclimated my fish. Normally, I would never drip acclimate, at least not freshwater. But I'm very happy that my first drip acclimating of fish actually was pretty darn successful. Thank you guys for watching this video, and subscribe for more of this tank, because I got more videos on this tank coming. Thank you guys for watching, and I am out.